Can you spot your favorite stars after all these years? We'll show you how they look today and give you 5 seconds to guess their name. Then we'll reveal how they looked in one of their iconic roles from back in the day. Some will be easy, others might take you by surprise. Keep count of how many you recognize and share your score in the comments below. Ready? Let's get started. That's the smooth-talking charmer himself, George Hamilton, whose perpetual tan became as legendary as his acting career and whose romance with Elizabeth Taylor made headlines worldwide. He's appeared in over 50 films and still maintains that golden glow that made him Hollywood's most bronzed leading man. He's 86 in 2025. You're looking at the action hero Chuck Norris, whose roundhouse kicks became internet legend, and whose Walker Texas Ranger made him a household name for decades. He holds black belts in multiple martial arts disciplines and once performed all his own stunts well into his 60s, proving age is just a number. In 2025, he's 85. That's the comedy legend Chevy Chase, whose deadpan delivery on Saturday Night Live launched 1,000 impressions and whose vacation movies defined family comedy for generations. He was the first cast member to leave SNL at its peak and parlayed that risk into a successful film career spanning 40 years. He's 82 in 2025. Here's the dramatic powerhouse Sally Field, whose "You like me, you really like me" Oscar speech became pop culture history and whose range from Gidget to Brothers and Sisters proved her incredible versatility. She's won 2 Academy Awards, 3 Emmy Awards, and continues acting with the same passion she had as a teenager. She's 79 in 2025. That's the romantic leading man Richard Gere, whose silver hair only enhanced his legendary charm and whose pretty woman smile still melts hearts decades later. He's a devoted Buddhist who meditates daily and owns a collection of vintage motorcycles that he personally restores in his spare time. He's 76 in 2025. Behold the comedy genius Martin Short, whose manic energy and character voices made him Saturday Night Live gold, and whose friendship with Steve Martin created comedy magic on screen and stage. He can do over 100 different impressions and still performs live comedy shows with the same enthusiasm he had 30 years ago. In 2025, he's 75. You're seeing the action icon Sylvester Stallone, whose Rocky and Rambo characters defined American heroism for multiple generations, and whose underdog story mirrors his own rise from struggling actor to global superstar. He wrote Rocky in 3.5 days and refused to sell the script unless he could star in it, proving belief in oneself pays off. He's 79 in 2025. That's the dramatic tour de force Meryl Streep, whose accent mastery is so complete that dialect coaches study her techniques and whose 21 Oscar nominations make her the most nominated actor in Academy history. She learns entirely new languages for roles and can still perfect accents in just weeks of preparation. She's 76 in 2025. Here's the versatile character actor Danny DeVito, whose 4'10" frame never limited his larger-than-life performances, and whose directorial skills behind the camera match his acting talents in front of it. He's been married to Rhea Perlman for over 4 decades, and they remain best friends despite their unconventional relationship status. In 2025, he's 80. You're looking at the elegant beauty Katherine Bach, whose Daisy Duke shorts became a cultural phenomenon and whose legs were insured for $1 million at the height of her fame. She sewed her own costumes because the show's budget was so low and the Smithsonian Museum requested a pair of her shorts for their American history collection. She's 71 in 2025. That's the comedy legend John Cleese, whose Monty Python absurdism changed comedy forever, and whose Fawlty Towers remains the gold standard for British sitcoms. He's 6'5" and used his height for physical comedy, often towering over other performers while delivering his perfectly timed one-liners with deadpan precision. He's 86 in 2025. Witness the dramatic powerhouse Jessica Lange, whose haunting performances in American Horror Story prove she could reinvent herself in her 60s, and whose photography skills are gallery-worthy when she's not acting. She's won 2 Academy Awards and continues choosing challenging roles that showcase her incredible emotional range. She's 76 in 2025. You're seeing the comedy icon Eddie Murphy, whose multiple character performances required hours of makeup each day, and whose voice work in animated films introduced him to entirely new generations of fans. He can do over 50 different character voices and often improvises entire scenes, keeping co-stars and directors constantly surprised. In 2025, he's 64. That's the action star Harrison Ford, whose Indiana Jones hat and whip became cultural icons, and whose Han Solo swagger made him science fiction royalty. He's a licensed pilot who performs rescue missions in his spare time, proving that real-life heroism matches his on-screen characters. He's 83 in 2025. Here's the sitcom legend Ted Danson, whose Sam Malone charm made Cheers the most beloved bar in television history, and whose environmental activism shows his commitment extends beyond entertainment. He's been married to Mary Steenburgen for over 20 years, and they're considered Hollywood's most stable couple. He's 77 in 2025. You're witnessing the dramatic genius Robert De Niro, whose method acting technique influenced an entire generation of performers and whose collaborations with Martin Scorsese created cinema history. He owns multiple restaurants in New York City and is as passionate about food as he is about filmmaking. In 2025, he's 82. That's the comedy queen Bette Midler, whose divine Miss M persona brought Vegas showmanship to mainstream audiences, and whose voice can handle everything from ballads to comedy songs with equal brilliance. She's won Grammy, Emmy, Tony, and Golden Globe Awards, making her one of entertainment's most decorated performers. She's 79 in 2025. You're looking at the versatile actor Kevin Costner, whose Field of Dreams proved, if you build it, they will come, and whose Dances with Wolves won him Academy Awards for both directing and producing. He owns a successful country music band and tours regularly when not filming, proving his artistic talents extend beyond acting. He's 70 in 2025. That's the comedy legend Steve Martin, whose banjo skills are as impressive as his comedic timing and whose art collection is museum quality when he's not entertaining millions. He's written several books, composed music, and continues performing live shows with the same energy he brought to Saturday Night Live. In 2025, he's 80. Here's the dramatic powerhouse Glenn Close, whose villainous characters are as memorable as her heroic ones, and whose stage work proves she's equally comfortable on Broadway and in Hollywood. She's been nominated for 8 Academy Awards and owns a ranch where she raises horses and practices equestrian skills. She's 78 in 2025. You're seeing the action icon Bruce Willis, whose John McClane quips in Die Hard redefine the action hero template and whose versatility spans comedy, drama, and explosive blockbusters. He's a licensed harmonica player who often incorporates music into his film roles, showing his artistic range extends beyond acting. In 2025, he's 70. That's the comedy genius Robin Williams, whose rapid-fire improvisations could reduce audiences to tears from laughter and whose dramatic performances proved his incredible emotional depth. His stand-up routines were never the same twice, and he could create entire characters spontaneously during live performances. In 2025, he would have been 74. Witness the elegant beauty Michelle Pfeiffer, whose Catwoman performance became the gold standard for superhero sensuality and whose ageless appearance seems to defy the laws of time itself. She practices yoga daily and maintains the same fitness routine she's used for 30 years, proving consistency creates lasting results. She's 67 in 2025. The final star, that's the comedy icon Bill Murray, whose deadpan delivery and surprise appearances at random events make him the internet's favorite celebrity, and whose Groundhog Day philosophy has influenced how people view life's repetitions. He has no agent or manager and chooses roles by following his instincts rather than career strategies. He's 75 in 2025. How many did you recognize? Tell us your score in the comments. If this brought back memories, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with a fellow fan of classic TV and film. These stars didn't just entertain us, they became part of our cultural DNA, creating characters and moments that continue influencing entertainment today. We'll see you in the next one.